Now, will AGI disrupt all this? Probably not all at once. Will it solve it for us? No, absolutely not. We need to solve a lot of this problem for ourselves. We need to have these conversations and make sure that as the economic paradigms shift in society, that we pay attention to who gets left behind. Because one thing, particularly in America, is that if you get left behind, it's your own fault to figure that out. But that's not necessarily the healthiest response, because then some people, as you mentioned, will kind of take matters into their own hands, and they don't necessarily take it in a pro-social direction. So we need to make sure that we're paying attention to this. I don't know what the answer is. It's going to depend on how these problems manifest, or whether or not they even do manifest. It might be, I might be predicting wrong, but I do anticipate that we will have some issues around, finding meaning and purpose and connection.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And in general, when I talk to entrepreneurs and people who are in tech, I always ask them, what is the goal? What do you want to achieve? What do you want people to benefit from it? And that should be the main question here when you have this very potent technological capabilities. So what do you want to achieve with that? So the fact that we could do it doesn't mean we should. And how do we really want this to manifest in our lives?
Right. Yeah. This is something that I think about a lot, and I agree. It's not talked about enough. Is okay when you have the ability to shape the future, right? There's a saying that's like, the best way to predict the future is to make it. So what future are we trying to build? And there's not enough conversation around that, at least not publicly. And I think part of the reason that the conversation is not happening publicly yet is because there's still a lot of trepidation around, kind of what's happening. Like sometime later today, President Biden is expected to issue an executive order around AI, creating guardrails, safety, but also protecting jobs. And I'm concerned because, well, it makes sense. Obviously, it wouldn't make sense for a president of the United States to say, hey, let's go ahead and get rid of all jobs. That would be a very unpopular move, and he would not get reelected. But at the same time, that is a reflection of the status quo, and the status quo is changing. And so this is kind of like why I keep saying it's part of an ongoing conversation, is because part of living through change, especially massive change that we're about to live through, is recognizing that the status quo that you prefer today, whether or not you want it to change, is going to change. But then what agency or authority do we have over the direction in which it changes? And of course, there's many, many forces at play, some that we have influence over and some that we don't. It's almost like an unstoppable force, right? Like technology progresses, science progresses. There's nothing we can do to stop that globally. You might say like, hey, we're going to put a moratorium, like we did this with cloning research and embryonic stem cell research. That didn't stop it globally. Only a few people slowed down. And at the same rate, AI research, there's too much incentive to keep going. So it's not going to stop. So, it's kind of like you're kind of caught in the river. Where is the river taking you? We don't really know yet. And so there's a lot of uncertainty in the near future.
Yeah,